Good evening. I'm John Arnold. Welcome to Protect and Serve. Here we are again on a Wednesday night at 6 p.m. having discussions about safety, being safe in our community, representing from the New Jersey Urban Crime Foundation, where cops, community, and clergy all come together to bring resolutions. Tonight we're going to have a dialogue. Again, we have so much feedback from what the students confronted with the Karen or Ken last week that we decided to do part two because there's so much information out there that we need to share with you, the viewers. So again, we invite you to come in and comment, be a part of the conversation. Peer Protect and Serve, we're trying to make sure that you get the information as soon as it comes out and some solutions. Not only just give you the information, but to try to give you some sound advice as to what to do based upon best practices. Protect and Serve, we try to let you in on what to do when confronted by the police, stopped by the police. That was another show that was got a lot of viewership, and I believe we're going to do another one where we actually show you what's going on and how to do it in the actual car, so you know how to react, and you can show your kids because you know our young people are being stopped by the police because you know how it was when you were young. You know, you were driving fast, or driving crazy, and doing all kind of stuff, and that flags our young people. So they're more likely to be um, involved in an incident with the police or not a confrontation, but a stop with the police more so than you, because I believe and I hope, like myself, that we slow down a little bit in our senior age. Um, but anyway, that's another show that's coming up tonight. We're going to get back to what to do with confronted with the Karen or Ken because it's an important discussion. We find that most of the people who found themselves in this situation where they had the cops called on them, they lost their lives. So we talked about the young brother who was at the store. He was confronted by someone because they accused him he parked in a handicapped spot, and the gentleman approached him, and because of his privilege, he decided to take matters in his own hands. He didn't even call the police. Other instances, the same thing. Karens calling the cops on mainly black people, African Americans. And what happens is when the cops come there, now it's a confrontation that should not have happened because a lot of the allegations are false or misconceived, and it puts us in a bad situation. So tonight, I want to share with you some things that of what you should do because we're showing them in the videos. Thank God for the videos, but we need to go a little bit further than that. We need to really um, talk about it. We need to have a discussion. And we don't have all the answers. That's why we want your feedback. All right, we want you to chime in. We have some people who come on, viewers who come on who are former law enforcement attorneys. Some are civil rights activists. They're community activists, and they're giving you suggestions based upon their experience. So look at the comments, feed into the comments, feed into the conversation, and let's talk. All right, because we're here for the business of protecting and serving the community. And the police can't do it by themselves. It takes a cooperative effort between all of us to do it. So tonight I want to bring in the expert commentators. They are the ones who, you know, I relied on when I was in charge of prosecutor's office, in charge of North Police Department, with the director there. I'm talking about retired detective from Newark, Stephanie Treadwell. Hey, Steffi, how you doing?
Hi.
Talking about my buddy Anthony Cox. He's on the go, but he
How you doing?
made sure he did not miss our show. We appreciate it because your information is valuable. You know, the viewers really enjoy our show last week, and they enjoyed it so much that we had to come back and do a part two. I thought there would be robbery not to do a part two, and there's some more information out there about what these Karens and Kens have been doing. And as we said, Steph gave you the definition of Karen last week, but we know that Karen is anyone who thinks they're privileged, and it's not only the definition that they have is of one particular race, but it could be anyone. It could be anyone who thinks they're privileged and thinks they're better than someone else, and that's when you're dealing with a Karen. You'll know when you're dealing with a Karen when you find yourself in a situation where someone is trying to tell you that you shouldn't be in the place that you belong in, like such as if you just moved into an apartment building and she wants to stop you from being there or coming in because I know everybody in the building. You can't know everybody in the building. You just can't. All right. People change, they move, leases run out, and people change. So you don't know everybody. They have stopped people from doing their jobs. They have actually held people hostage. That's kidnapping. When you prevent someone from moving freely, that's a kidnap. That's a kidnapping, believe it or not. And you need to know that, because when the officer responds to the scene and you have your video, that's what you need to show them, so that you have recourse. That's your recourse. Look what this person has done to me. They have kidnapped me, basically, by preventing me. They took time from me. They restrained me. That's what kidnapping is by the legal definition. So we want to get into it tonight. Steph, we're gonna start with you, ladies first. All right. Well, we appreciate what you had last week, man. You broke some stuff down.
Well, oh boy, now you know what? I'm a Virgo, and I try to do everything in line and in sync. He just tricked up on me.
Oh, but then listen. We don't want to trick you up. Tony, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna just start off with some stuff. I want to say hi to Karen. This is about you. No, honey, not you. But hi, Karen. Hi, Deborah. So no, what I wanted to say is this whole Karen thing did not start yesterday or once the real movement started here recently. Mm-hmm. There were a couple of situations that I remember, and I know I'm older than a lot of you guys, but you probably remember back in 1989, there was this guy from Boston that said a black guy had killed his pregnant wife. You guys remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's right. Killed his wife. His wife was pregnant with a child.
Right. And he said a black guy did it. And then when they found out it was him, then he went and killed himself. His own brother ratted him out. Yeah. Then, do you remember in 1995 when Susan Smith had killed her kids, and she said a black guy had kidnapped them in a car, and they finally pulled those babies from the lake. And so
that was a sad case. That really touched me.
Right, and exactly, and they're the victims, and then it's also the victims about how many of the guys fit the description, and got harassed or, maybe at least came out with their life or whatever, but those are crazy. But what I want to focus on is a situation that happened 2 years ago with a Yale student. A student from Yale. It was she was doing her graduate, and she was doing African studies. Mm. So if I could have a video right quick, it's a short video, and then I can expound on it.
The outrage at Yale University, a black graduate student, after she fell asleep in a common room of her dorm, and then the police were called. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Growing frustration tonight after yet another instance of police being called to investigate a black person carrying out a routine act. The latest target was taking a nap.
I have every right to call the police. You cannot sleep in that room.
This white student called police on a black graduate student who fell asleep while writing a paper in the dorm's common area.
I was sleeping on the couch. Okay. And said, you're not supposed to be here. Why are you sleeping here?
4 officers respond.
Once we verify that you're a resident here, we'll be on our way.
Cian Bola unlocks her door to prove she lives there, but police still want to see ID. She turns it over, but is detained 15 minutes when the name doesn't exactly match their records.
I deserve to be here. I pay tuition like everybody else. I'm not going to justify my existence here.
Cian Bola tells police this same woman called police on her friend, a fellow student, in March. That student says when he asked for directions, she responded,
"You're making me uncomfortable. I don't feel safe around you. You're an intruder. You need to get out. You need to leave."
In response to this week's incident, Yale released a statement saying Yale police followed procedures and added that police admonished the student who made the call.
The vice president for Student Life issued a statement saying she is deeply troubled by this incident and that they now plan to hold listening sessions. She went on to say, "We still have so much more to do." David.
Lindsay, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks.
Okay. What the heck is a listening session? After you get admonished. That's what I want to know. But there's the video is long. You can go on YouTube and see the complete video. It's like 17 minutes long. But what troubled me with this whole situation is that, like she said, she paid her tuition. Why isn't it that she can't, be in a common room? And when she was talking to the officer, she was very calm.
Right.
And all she kept telling her was like, look, I have to finish my paper. Her biggest concern was to finish her paper.
Right.
Now, they kept on, took her ID. When they did the ID, she kept saying, well, what are you doing that for? Well, I'm so sure they weren't just checking to see if she was a student on campus. They was running her
for warrants, everything.
Warrants, all kind of stuff.
You know how I'll do.
You too. But, and it was crazy. Now, let me tell you what's more crazy. It was two white officers came, and then later on, it was another white officer and the black officer. Now, he was allegedly the supervisor, and he was the worst. He was worse, and I was like, I started to call him this animal. The ones that got black circles around their eyes. But I mean, it was ugly. I mean, it was real ugly. But just to go through that, why we can't go to Yale? Even though she said she's paying her tuition, she probably was. She might have even was that smart that she might have had a scholarship. I don't think that it's not a historically black college. However, it's still somewhere where we can go. And, it just bothered me. But I looked at the comments and they were crazy. And in two of them, I'm going to read. Somebody said, what's the charge? Sleeping while black? But this was the craziest one. And y'all tell me how y'all think about it. The student that called the police is scared of her own shadow because it's black. That was crazy, but I'm telling you, where you go, you can't go to school or whatever. Okay, guys, it's on y'all now.
Well, you know what? Let me just say this about, because you brought up some important points. One, let me just say, my daughter at the time that happened, my daughter was the assistant basketball coach for the women's basketball team at Yale. So we discussed this because when this happened, first thing I did was call her to get some background on it. And she basically heard the same thing as you said. The lady is, afraid of her shadow. All right. And, but the one thing I want to say is, a lot of these departments that if they're not in big cities, like this was Yale University Police. So although they work on a campus, their campus isn't really as diverse as say Rutgers Newark or Rutgers New Brunswick. So a lot of the officers who work in these bigger cities know how to deal and understand the situation. They understand kids and they understand that, listen, this is what kids do. They sleep, they fall asleep doing work. I mean, that's what happens. Exactly. You got to be carrying, especially if you're carrying, she was a post grad, right? She wasn't an undergrad. She was a post grad. So she's probably working and going to school. So of course, like you said, Steph, she was more concerned about her paper than anything else. She wasn't worried about being a resident there. She knew that was okay. But the fact of the matter is the police did respond. They do have to do a job, because if you were there, I were there, and we had some riffraff in there. Look what happened at Seton Hall. You had some folks come in there, set the place on fire. People died. People got maimed, right? So they want to let the police do their job. But what you said was key, was that she was very calm. She was very calm. She didn't do a lot of stuff that we see in a lot of videos. And that's what we want to say to the viewers. Listen, we know it makes you upset. It makes you upset. It makes you mad, infuriated when you're accused of that. But what you have to do is stay calm, because as you're recording them, you're also recording yourself. So you don't want to make yourself a part of the problem by what you say or do. So the best thing was do just like she did. She let her talk and she just recorded. And when the cops came, boom. thank God it wasn't anything more than that, because if it was, they would have had a problem. All right. So
Oh
let's
boy,
move
I
on.
would have been neck snapping and everything.
See? And that's why we're having this discussion, because what I have seen, the best results that I have seen is when people stay calm. Just like when you testify in court, right? What's the first thing the prosecutor tells you? If they don't ask you, don't say it.
Don't say it.
Yes, yes, no. And people say, I know people on the forum, they're probably saying, yeah, because you officers are trying to be deceptive. No, we're following the rules of law and of court. If it's the prosecutor's job or the attorney's job to bring that out of you, to get that out of you. Because what happens is, if you officers start talking, it can go, it can go a different way.
Opens up other.
You got a mistrial. So prosecutors will tell you, just listen to the question and answer the question, because all we want is the facts, not your opinion, not what you thought, not this, not hearsay. And that's why the prosecutors, will interview you first, and witnesses too. And they tell the witnesses the same thing. The victims, hey, listen, just listen to the question carefully, because what we have to do, what we're responsible for, is just bring out the facts. And attorneys will try to pull something out of you to make the case go airy. So she was very good. I like the way that she handled herself in that video. She was cool, calm, and collected. She recorded Karen, and listen, she got the upper hand on that, because the school said they admonished the student. Okay, however they admonished her. All right, Karen said, it's tough sometimes, John, to stay calm, but I understand. Now, I know it's tough.
Very.
It is tough, because you're infuriated, you're upset, because it's wrong. You're being falsely accused of something. So, yes, your natural reaction is to protect yourself, is to fight back. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, the reason why we're doing this show, ladies and gentlemen, is because in these days and times, it's not fair. The system is not working, because of systemic racism and because of other issues within the department. Is that in the procedures that they carry out, you have to listen. Our job is to protect and serve you. Now that we're retired, is to tell you how to get through these instances. You understand? It's our job now to share with you our experience and what we know to help you get through. Carolyn Clark, hey, cuz, what's up? She said, unfortunately, some Black officers feel the need to prove to their Caucasian counterparts that they can keep their own in check without prejudice. Like you said, we're sometimes harder on our own than others. Yes, I know that to be true. And what you do is, listen, first of all, when you come to the scene, you should not see color. That's what you should not do, black or white. Don't care if it's white person, black person. You should look for the facts. If there was a crime committed, and deal with that. Trying to come there to impress your officers who are another color, if you're in a Hispanic call and you have to deal with Hispanics, and you're there and you're Hispanic and you have black and white officers with you, by you escalating instead of de-escalating, now you put all of us at risk. So just be yourself. All right. Don't come there and try to be bigger and badder, and I got this. No. Look, just be yourself. Okay. Just be who you are. Blue. That's what you are. Just be it. My goodness. That was good though, Steph. That case really, I remember that because, like I said, my daughter was up there. She's no longer there. There were a couple of instances and a couple of cases up there, but she's no longer there. Thank God. I'm not gonna say thank God. She's at Monmouth University, which is one of the teams that we used to play against when she was at Quinnipiac. So we'll see how that goes. I call her a traitor now. She moved to the other side. Anyway, Tone, what's going on, man?
Maintaining.
Hey, I hear you, Tone.
Basically, this is not going to end until everybody gets on the same page, basically. And like you say, try to keep your composure, even if you have to, on your own, put yourself in a scenario. What if that was me? How would I react? And it's hard to say if you're talking to yourself, obviously, how would I react if you're not in that incident? You can practice, but until you're actually involved in something, you'll know how you react. But it's good to practice it. Try to keep calm, like you said, record it, let them do the talking. But sometimes people catch us on the wrong day and things happen. Can we show this next video?
So this guy is being completely racist because my 1 year old is making noises. And guess what? You're gonna go viral. Because that's the only way to stop you guys is to put you on camera. Shame on you. No, shame on both of you. This world would be a much better place without you two. I can't believe what I just witnessed. What? I cannot believe they just said that to us. I sure am. I sure am. That's fine. That's completely fine. That is completely fine. They are being so racist because my 1 year old.
This is what happens
ridiculous.
When someone has a dinner that makes their children really, really noisy.
Wow.
This person
you
right
need to
here
back up.
has a children
I don't
right
feel
here
safe.
that makes a
you
really
need to back
loud
up, sir.
noise.
You need to back
So,
up. I do not
back
feel
off?
safe.
Why back off?
You need to call the cops right now. I
How
do
about
not
this?
feel
Call
safe.
cops. Call cops.
You need to call
Your
the
children
police
is making
right
a lot of
now.
noise.
She's a baby. She's 1 year old. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I am like, what is wrong with you? Okay, Ken. Okay. Okay. Wow.
Now, a 1 year old child in a restaurant. Come on, enough is enough.
Man.
Now, what you can also do, advise the staff at the restaurant, you want the manager, because 9 out of 10 restaurants have video also. Make sure tell the police or the manager make sure that it's being recorded. You want the manager there. You want to make a complaint. Also call the police because that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
When he was approaching her, she didn't know what he was going to do.
Right.
He's walking all up on her, coming in her personal space. You don't know what somebody's going to do. But for them to react the way they did was uncalled for with the child, mother
Yeah.
and child.
And that's recent because I saw a mask.
Yes.
That was during COVID, like this COVID era right now.
Yes.
So it's, children and older folks are more at risk. Why would you even, but first of all, now I know I just told everybody they got to stay calm, but this is a moment.
See, there's one of the moments when your child is involved.
You're dealing with my child,
Exactly.
So my thing is, why would you confront a 1 year old child? See, viewers and those of you watching, this is what we're talking about. If you don't have a problem with what you just saw, there's something wrong with you, because you should be outraged that this man, because a child is going to cry. That's how they communicate.
Yeah, kids.
Why would you get up and walk over to the table and confront the mother and the child and put that type of put them in that type of situation where you could be possibly have COVID or are spreading it, and you're talking with no mask on? First of all, you're over my food. Now the camera would have went off and we would have maybe had a different conversation, but
he's in your personal space, basically.
Yeah. I mean that's a direct violation of someone's
6 feet rule, as they say. Exactly.
Yeah. That's why they said 6 feet. 6 feet distance, social distancing. He was in violation of that.
So
and listen, come over there.
Side of the restaurant, but you coming up, approaching a person, an adult with a child, with the camera in your hand, like, come on, that was ridiculous. Now, had she reacted a different way, we don't know what would have happened. But it was on video.
Well, see, and that's the problem, because this is what has happened in the past. Those type of situations have led to people of color being confronted by the police and the situation going south. Because
so one story being told or listened to,
exactly, and the person is upset, visibly upset. So of course they're talking with their hands, especially people who are victims of some type of incident like this. They're going to be upset. So they talk with their hands, and to this, doing like this, talking like this, and getting close to an officer is kind of like, puts them on the defensive, or her on the defensive, whoever the officer is. Now they're going to be looking at you a different way. So now it goes from that incident to you being, belligerent or inciting a riot or, disorderly persons, and now they're going to make an arrest. And that's how these things escalate. So that's why it's important that, when you're videotaping, you stay calm, and you stay even calmer when the police come, because you don't want another problem, to arise out of that problem. But you need to make sure that you record and you deal with that situation the right way. Get you a good attorney, and make sure that if anyone, police, management,
and also, during the call, I would have hit 911.
Right.
Call the police and advise them. I asked for the manager to come over here. No one has come to me. Like, say everything on that tape.
Right, on a tape line.
On that call, make sure you're saying everything so that that's being recorded also.
Yes. And that's key, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, we're giving you some insight. We're not telling you to cower down. We're telling you how to survive. All right, we're telling you how to survive, because as police officers, when we're confronted by other police officers, we would deal with it a certain way. We understand, what's going on and how we would deal with it. And we know that not all cops don't respond to scenes and act like, like they don't have any sense. But we do have a few on the job. We do have a few. But cops who have been, experienced and have worked in diverse communities, they understand. They understand how to respond to situations. That's part of the diversity training that officers go through. And we're pushing for more cultural diversity training, because there are certain ways when you go to certain neighborhoods, you have to learn how to deal with the people, and you have to understand them. And it makes you a better police officer by understanding the people that you're called to protect and serve. So yeah, she didn't get upset. She handled that.
But she built the case, basically. Do it while you're videotaping. Oh, why are you coming towards me? I feel threatened. Build your case while you're videotaping. That way, if it does go to court, you said it.
Right.
Present it to the prosecutors.
Right. One of the things, and then we're gonna move on. One of the things, real quick, about when video cameras came to Newark Police Department. You know how police are. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, police officers are spoiled brats. Okay, any change they're gonna resist. You can say, okay, listen, we're gonna change the color of the hat for the summer. Oh, why are we gonna do it? You get so many complaints. They just complain. But I said, listen, how many of you will come before me on the trial board, and it's your word against their word? I said, now you have another piece of evidence that is either going to exonerate you or it's going to nail you. Make sure it exonerates you. And when these officers looked at it that way, it builds a better case. And what we're telling you is that when you take out your camera phone, your phone, and you start video calling, build a case. Build a case. You're going to need that, not only for criminal prosecution, but if it goes to civil. Listen, the video is better than your direct testimony these days. Juries are moved by what they see on videos. So build a case. That's what we're telling you. All right?
Yep. We have another video I'd like to show.
Va bene?
Sì.
Fai un
va, no te saques.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, all right.
Wow.
We had this video now. Everyone's adult. I can't tell anyone what not to do when someone hits you. That's assault. Protect yourself at all times. But once he was down, should have been over. That last kick, no, especially to the face, to the head, could cause charges filed against you.
Right.
Once he was down that first time, walk away. Or do what you have to do, report it. But, to go back, I know you're mad. Now you're pumped up, whatever. Go back and kick him with that last time to the head. When he's down, they can say, oh, now we can charge you with assault. And it's happening.
Right.
So.
Right. I'm glad you said that, Tony, because that's absolutely true. That's the same thing that applies to the officer in the George Floyd case applies to you as a civilian. You have a right to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I teach martial arts. I teach people how to defend themselves. But when you can get away. Get away. Listen, it's much easier for you, better for you to walk away or get away than to stay there because you don't know what can happen. And then like you just said, everybody wants to get that last one in. Everybody wants to get that last one in.
And it's hard not to, tell someone not to do it, but
yeah. But he was no longer under a threat. He did listen. My man jumped on him. He got the worst of the jumping on. My father always said, if you can't beat the bear, don't jump on the bear. Right? He jumped on the bear won. Now the bear went back for seconds, and that's what we're telling you: do not go back for seconds. Especially now, see the video, how the video camera works. It can help you or it can nail you. And right now, they would have looked at that video. They said, "Okay, you were good up until this point, but now
they can lock them both up.
Now you have a problem. Now you have a problem."
And they're going to ask you, why did you kick him when he was down?
Say it again, Tom.
They're going to ask him, why did you kick him when he was down?
Right.
And
right.
What you going to say? I was mad,
Yeah. And when you come there as an officer, right? Now you come there as an officer, this is what people don't understand. What are you going to do? What would you do when you come on the scene and someone showed you that video?
Got to lock them both up.
Right.
Ask both of them, do you want to file a complaint? The first victim going to say yeah, then the attacker, well, I want to file one too.
Right.
Right. They both have to go.
Right. And that's what's going to happen. They're going to they're going to have to do that, and that's what's going to happen on that scene. All right. They're going to say, okay, listen, they both have a right to file a complaint. And they will. And unfortunately, you were the victim, but now you're being charged as well. Mm-hmm. And understand this: the police. I know it's not right. I know it doesn't seem right, but police officers' hands are tied because police officers are not there, to dictate or adjudicate the situation. They're there to enforce the law. And if the law says, that both parties have to be arrested if they commit a crime, then you have to do your job. And, that's like domestic violence. It doesn't matter. They come to the house, everybody gets locked up. All right. Because, it's a domestic violence situation and that's how the courts decided to rule. So, that's an important point. I'm glad you showed that video. That was awesome. Yeah. So I have one I want to show from Palm Beach. If we can roll the one from Palm Beach.
You don't tell me what to do. I can say I live here. Call 911. Go ahead.
Would you like me to call a Palm Beach County Sheriff and they'll tell you to leave the community?
I would love for you to call the Sheriff's Department.
This is a gated community.
I understand it's gated.
Are you a guest of someone here in the community? That's what I'm asking you.
You don't have any right. I don't have to answer any questions that you ask me. I would love for you to call the sheriffs.
Yep.
Call them. I'll be riding around. I'm not leaving.
This is a private community.
That's fine.
Okay?
Go ahead. Call the Sheriff's Department. You have no right to ask me any questions, and I don't have to answer any questions to you. I haven't spoken to you.
You don't have the right to be riding around in a private community where you're you're not the guest of someone or you don't live here.
Guess what? Does that matter to you? I didn't speak to you. I didn't do anything to you.
That's fine.
Okay,
you
great.
Don't need to.
That's great. So how about you go police somewhere else because you got the wrong one and I got time today?
I don't give a shit.
I can tell you don't give a shit.
Okay?
I was lying. I do live here. No, I'm back up.
Whoa. We got some hot videos tonight. Okay, now a couple of things I want to say about this video. All right. First of all, when you're in a complex, you don't know unless you're there being the security guard, you're not going to know everybody that moves in and moves out of your complex.
Even then, you might not know.
Exactly. Now, the mistake that Ken made was that he thinks in his mind that because she was a woman of color and you heard the accent come out, right? When she got mad, the West Indian accent came out. When she started talking, he automatically assumed that she didn't belong there. Mm-hmm. And he felt that, listen, there's no way that she could be there, So the thing is, as you go through life, you see that people who were on the bottom scale economically move up, especially entrepreneurs and kids coming out of college. They get good jobs and they pay well and they can afford the houses that you normally don't see them in. But he said it was a gated community. She's riding her bike. She lives in the community. And one thing she said, like I said on last week's show, when I was confronted by an individual who came out and told me that the public street that I was on was a private road. Okay. He's going to ask me to show him ID and this. I said, sir, listen, go back in your house. I don't have obligation to show you anything. You don't have to show a person who claims they live in their community complex or housing complex anything. The only people you have to show something to is the police if they're conducting an investigation. To sit there and tell somebody, the audacity to tell somebody, show me your ID. No, I don't know you. And what do you want to see what are you going to do if I show you my ID? Nothing. So, it's important. I wanted to point that out because she stood her ground. She didn't get crazy, but she let Ken know, listen, I'm not the one. She said it. I'm not the one. You picked the wrong one today. Now, there's some follow-up because listen, for everything that you do, there's cause and effect. Look at what happened to Ken. All right, now first they found out where he works at. Can we show that slide? Do we have the picture of Ken, his ID? Because I think, look at the internet. Look at the internet. He is Byron Beck III. He works in finance at CTS Engines at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign College of Business, West Palm Beach, Florida, 500 connections. Okay, now understand this. When you work in the corporate world and you do stupid stuff like this is what happens. Let's look at the second picture. We recently became aware of an incident involving one of our employees that occurred outside of work. This individual engaged in behavior that is inconsistent with our company's values, where we treat everyone with respect. He is no longer employed by our company. Wow.
So he got to move out the gated community.
He'll be moving out soon.
Yeah. Job. He can't afford it. What?
She's gonna still be riding her bike around the gated community, saying,
"Not him. He don't have a job."
Yeah, but she's gonna still be riding her bike around the community every day. Now, understand, this is what's happening. The world is changing, and I've said it before, and I say it again. And we just had a meeting, a group of pastors. We just had a meeting. We talked about Generation Y and Z. Listen, they are world changers. They are going to be the ones sitting at the table watching stuff like this They're going to be the future judges. They're going to be the future lawyers. They're already moving into those positions now. The millennials are moving into those positions now, and they're not tolerating it. So if you have a mentality like Ken or Karen, it's a very dangerous time for you right now. With everything that's going on, you can no longer afford to sit there and do the nonsense that you got away with years ago, because as they said, you picked the wrong generation. These young people are on the move. They are still protesting. We are watching videos where they're still protesting. I'm not going to get political, but somebody said that they were going to pull the federal officers out of, we weren't going to pull the federal officers out of Portland. Guess what? They're doing a seabag drag as we speak. They are leaving Portland, Oregon. All right. And I don't suggest they go to Chicago because the mayor there said she's going to lock them up. All right. So, just understand, that this is a very complex time. It's a very challenging time. And we have to be careful nowadays of everything that we do and say, because the internet is alive and booming. All right. So you have to be real careful. All right. I want to look at one of these, some of these comments. All right. Carol Clark, she said, director, on one of your other shows, you talked about call takers being trained. Later in the video, it appears that the call taker told him to walk away. Yes. Okay. So now that's a very good point, because what's happening is there's legislation that is being reviewed right now where not only the police officers are going to have to go through cultural diversity training and be trained on how to deal with certain situations and de-escalate, but even the call takers, the 911 dispatchers, the ones who take the calls, they're going to be trained as well. And they're going to give instruction, clear instruction. Now, not that the person that called the police, they don't listen all the time, because we have a couple instances where the dispatcher told them, sir, do not stop following the person, leave the person alone. And they continue to go on. And of course, in those, they had stand your ground and they wound up shooting and killing the individual, but they were clearly told to go and walk away. And the same thing here. The dispatcher told the gentleman, he said, walk away. All right, you did what you're supposed to do. I don't understand it. When I guess it's because we're police officers, being trained. When I see stuff going on, when I see red and blue lights on, man, I don't go by it. I go the other way. Because I know ain't nothing good gonna come out of it. I don't want to be a part of it, right? So if I see a crime going down, if I see something, I've done my duty. Hello, you need to get a police officer over here, 911 at 8123 Main Street. And guess what? I'm back in my car on my happy-go-lucky self way. That's where I'm going. But some people feel the need to be the police. Let the police be the police. All right, because a lot of times, a lot of good officers have gotten in trouble because of Kens like him. And I don't know what happened with when the police who got there, but I do know that Ken lost his job. And he might, as that girl said, she said, you about to lose your job. That's what I was waiting for the girl to say, because it was obvious that, he was in the wrong. I mean, just the audacity, of them to think that they can confront you and take you. So Karen Daniels said, no more gated community for him. Yep. Yeah, I think you're right, Karen. I think that's a wrap. As the young folk, that's a wrap. It's a different time. It's a different day. It's a different time. We all have to be more responsible as adults. We have to be more sympathetic to other people's needs. We all have our own implicit biases. We came up that way. We're in a country that is one of the most racist countries in the world. It doesn't make it, totally lost that we can't fix it. I believe we can fix it. I believe that we have a lot of opportunity here in America. We have, as far as compared to other countries, but there are some issues that need to be fixed and addressed to make it the country that we claim it to be, or we say it to be. All right. Immigrants come here and they have the dream and the hope of being better and doing things that they can't do in their own country, and they get the opportunity here. I have friends that are from Afghanistan, from Iran, who come here, and they're doing really well. They're doing really well. But what's the common denominator of things that they have wrong with them is that they still are viewed by Karens and Kens because they're Arab. They have a problem with them. So, let's open this up a little bit. So, Steph, have you ever had a Karen and Ken case yourself when you were on the job?
No, I don't think so. But just the perception of you being a minority, or according to them, and you don't have anything. Me and Sonji had a situation at the airport where we were up in first class. We were at the ticket counter, and it was already a couple at the ticket counter, and then me and Sonji working and waiting in line. There's nobody behind us. And the lady was the ticket agent was so focused on us being there. While she taking care of the lady, she kept saying, this is for first class. So me and Soji, we was like, okay. And we just standing there. And then she did some stuff with the people. And then she said it again. Oh, you're in the first class line. And this is only for first class. So we was like, okay. And we didn't move, but we kind of didn't get it until we went to walk up. And then I said, so do you think this lady think that we're not supposed to be here? So that thing kind of, it's a good thing that we didn't understand what was going on then, or else we would have been neck snapping and everything else.
Oh, I know you two would have been snapping. The viewers don't know Sonji, but I know when you two get together.
Yeah, that's my ride or die.
That's right. You wouldn't want to see those two coming up to a scene, and you the one that's going to be the focusing on, because those two. Oh my goodness! Listen, how about you, Tone? I mean, you've been around, you've been all over.
The only thing similar to it, was with East Orange. We had doing some warrant roundups, narcotics, and we had to go to South Jersey to pick up an individual who had a warrant for an investigation we had in East Orange. Get down there, small town, suburban town, and one of the officers told us, well, he lives on a major street, the person that you're coming to get. We said, okay. He says, well, I'm going to take you the back way, because once you arrest him, I don't want the neighbors to see him being arrested. We said, look, we know where he's at. Either you could take us directly to his house, or you could follow us there. We went directly to his house, knocked on the door, identified ourselves. He was a little hesitant. We handcuffed him, advised him of his rights, put him in the car, and drove him directly straight back to East Orange. And a few of his neighbors saw what was happening, but why should we have to go in the back way to find out, where he lives at? Like, no. He's going to get arrested, doing a crime, we're going to lock him up. And that's what it was.
Right.
But other than that, nothing I can recall right now. But that was basically it.
Yeah, there's a Superior Court judge who, when he was a municipal court judge, was shopping around Christmas time at Short Hills Mall. I won't say his name, but he was shopping at Short Hills Mall, and there was I guess a couple in front of them, and they had a stolen credit card, and somehow the clerk behind the counter didn't perceive that they were the ones that had the stolen credit card, and she called the security and the cops, and they locked up the judge. So I like what the judge did, because when you're on that level, when you have this understanding, the type of knowledge that we're giving you today, when we're telling you what to do today, listen to this. If you get anything from this judge played them to the T. He went through the whole thing. He didn't say, I'm a judge, leave me alone. Listen, he didn't lose his calm. You know why? Because when I get to the end of the story, you're gonna see why. So they lock him up. They transport him to Millburn PD, because that's where the mall is in Millburn. Handcuff him to the bench, right? It takes one of the officers who used to work in his town to come in and see him handcuffed to the bench and say, Judge, what are you doing here? And now everybody's like,
oh,
what? And he said, "Do you know who this is?" The officer is like, "Do you know who this is?" And all the while, I bet you, because I know the judge. You know, he's a former police officer who, you know, studied and became a lawyer and became a judge. I bet you he had
director.
Yeah, and was a police director. Yeah, because I scared him one night on the raid. But he was he was good. He was real cool. He was real cool about it. But his grin must have been from like the Joker. Because he said, "I got you now, you stupid," you know. And of course, you know, the mall got sued, you know, because what happened. And all I'm going to say is, if you're ever down in the southern states, you can go to his second home, courtesy of, you know, Shore Hills Mall. So you know what? Listen, me, I learned now from watching and you know, coming out of government and going into corporate. Listen, the thing is, they don't want to pay. You want to get them, hit them in their pockets, and that's one of the things that they're trying to do with police officers now too. They're trying to go after make sure the police officers are held personally responsible when they mess up. So it's going to be more like a doctor now. If they, you know, you're going to have malpractice insurance because, you know, listen, this job you can mess up. You know, you can mess up. You can mess up big too. So you have to really be careful. And I would be cautious to any police officers who are on here. I would really be cautious coming to the scene and doing your own assessment. I don't care if the person is a doctor or a lawyer, attorney. Listen, I see them make mistakes too, and they cause people to get in trouble and lose their job. And the funny thing about it, they walk away, but you, the officer who just responded and is doing your job, and everyone else gets in trouble. So, you know, be very careful with how you handle these cases. So we have Karen and Ken, and you know, it's amazing that with all this going on, we're still seeing videos. Because Tony, you had the most recent video, you know, of Karen and Ken situation, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So you know, we have to really stay on our guard. Listen, as long as they're Karen and Ken's, we're gonna have a long show. Our show is gonna have a long life because it is humorous. The stuff that they actually come up with and they think about and they say during these encounters. I mean, I don't know if I was an officer now and I came to a scene. First of all, I probably would laugh in their face. I said, "You gotta be kidding me! You called me here for this? You called me here for this?" And then, who remembers the one with the FedEx driver? How about the FedEx driver?
I remember that one. When,
remember the FedEx driver? Anybody remember that he was delivering?
They detained him or something, right? Or
yeah, they gave him the code to come into.
Oh yeah, in the package they don't throw it over the fence or something.
Yeah, but no, that's another one. Oh, this one they blocked him with their cars, and was trying to tell him, you know, who let you in here? Who let you in here? All right. They held him up. The man was in tears because you could tell he was working hard. He just wanted to do his job. Uber Eats, that's the latest one that I saw. The lady would not let the man, because he was a young black male, deliver the food. Now, you know, Uber Eats, because you know the pandemic, you drop it at your door.
Mm-hmm.
They have responsibility to drop it at your door or make sure you receive it. There's no
contact. Exactly.
So they have to drop it at your door because if someone else takes the food, you got to pay for it. So he was trying to get access to drop it to the apartment door, and he met a Karen at the front door, and she confronted him and talked very nasty to him, and prevented him from doing his food, delivering his food. But what I didn't like was the customer didn't come down right away. Did not come down right away and offer any assistance. Because the lady said, "I don't know who you are either." This lady said, "I've just moved in here 2 months ago." But the lady said, "I don't know who you are either, and he's not coming in." I'm like, the audacity of these people. Now, when it comes time to eat, man, listen, we might have to have a different conversation. All right, you're not gonna mess with my food or mess over my food. Not that I'm paying for it, and it's getting cold too. So you know. So yeah, I mean, it's still going on, and what we want to tell our viewers today is to be very, very careful. Just to recap, when you're confronted with a Karen or Ken, make sure that you record the situation, the incident. Make sure you record it. Make sure you try to keep your calm. That's very important. Very important that you keep your calm. If you're with someone else, have them call the police as well and tell them that you're being detained. Whatever the situation is, make sure that you call the police department and tell them I'm being detained by this individual who is questioning me. I feel threatened. Can you send an officer here now? But the key thing is, remember that everything that you're doing or saying as you're recording them, the camera and the audio is picking you up. And if you have to go, if it hits the internet, if you decide to post it on the internet, understand now that everyone can see it, everyone has access to it, and you need to make sure that what you're posting when you're recording is not going to incriminate you worse than the individual, as in Tony's video, where the guy went and gave him a field goal kick, and could have actually killed the guy. So make sure you keep those things in mind. Tell your children the same thing, because that's important. Karen, you're welcome. She said, thank you, officers, for more knowledge. Listen, we are dedicated to giving you everything that we have. We find out stuff, we're going to give it to you. Stephanie is one who is still active. Tony's still active with the associations that they're with. I'm still active with the community and with our legislature, our senators and whatnot, and the community. We want to, as soon as we find out stuff that we think the viewers should have, we're going to present it in our show. So, listen, and we might not all agree, but let's have the discussion. Let's have the talk. The Bible said, let us reason together. That's what happens. And with us, we don't talk things out. We always take the other approach where, we become a hater. Oh, what they trying to do? Listen, we trying to help you. What you trying to do? Don't worry about what I'm doing. What are you doing to help the situation? We're in a pandemic and we have violence in our communities, and I don't hear you saying anything.
Yep.
All right. All you doing is talking about me, or talking about Steph, or talking about Tony, or talking about our guest on the show. Do something, say something. Well, what are you doing? So, that's what we deal with. And what we want to do is make sure that you get the information right off the pot. So that's all I have. Listen, Stephanie, Anthony, thank you for coming on again. Thank you to all the viewers who came on for today's show. We pray that you be safe. Listen, in New Jersey, our numbers are going back up. Our numbers are going back up. We want you to be careful. We want you to still practice social distancing, wash your hands, wear your mask. Make sure you continue. That's right. Make sure you continue to listen to the facts that are being said. That everybody's buzzing about this black doctor who came on about hydroxychloroquine. Okay, I don't know how she resurfaced. Everybody took her down because she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's telling you that she can be you can be cured by. She's doing outpatients. All right. If I'm an outpatient, you give me hydroxychloroquine and the Z-Pack, yeah, it's going to work for me. It might work for me. But we're talking about people who are not outpatients, who are in the hospital on ventilators. Okay. The other studies have proven. I don't know where her 350 patients came from, but the other patients who have died, I've seen the numbers. The 2,000 in New Jersey, it's bad. All right. So you have to be careful of what you see on the internet, because there's an ulterior motive of why she came out and was saying it. So, I was skeptical, from the beginning. Believe me, if I thought that hydroxychloroquine was going to be something that was really going to work, great. But from the Veterans Association that I belong to, they said it doesn't work. The doctors I talked to say it doesn't work. Dr. Fauci said it doesn't work. And some people believe that he's a conspiracy theorist. How you can believe that and not believe the other guy is, I don't know. But listen, wear your mask, do what you have to do to stay safe, because if it's not about you, you might be immune to it. You might be asymptomatic, but the people in your household, you do not want to bring this thing home to your house, to your household, with someone who they have a compromised immune system, might catch it and it might have a bad outcome. So until next week, listen, be safe, Remember, we love you. We're here to talk to you about what you're doing in life, about being safe, being protected, and serving you. I'm John Arnold, Stephanie Treadwell, Anthony Cox.
Take care.
Oh,
Stay tuned for next week.
One thing real quick.
Yep.
It's almost the end of the month. July was Pride Month for New Jersey. So to all the LGBTQ plus people, we hope you had a great month. We know that you're struggling. You know, your community is struggling, and you know your life matters too.
Right. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. So, with that being said, have a wonderful night from Protect and Serve. We'll talk to you next week, next Wednesday, 6 o'clock at the same time, right here on Facebook Live, New Jersey Urban Crime Foundation. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.